Is this the kind of face you see when you talk to people about your work? Confused, reserved, bored, disengaged? I'm going to give you 4 tips so you can make people listen by tapping into what's in the front of their minds. First, you have to realise that everyone you talk to is already drowning in a sea of words. It's been estimated that we are exposed to 100,000 words every day. That's like someone who starts talking to you when you wake up and doesn't stop until tea time. It's hardly surprising we deal with this by blocking out most of the words around us. You need to make sure your words rise above this noise. So, make sure your message is timely, relatable, unexpected, and emotionally engaging. As an aside, also make sure it's true. Whatever you've heard recently, we are not living in a post-truth age. So let's take these one at a time. First of all, make your message timely. It isn't enough for you to tell me why your work is important. You have to tell me why it's important now. For example, if I was promoting a course on public speaking, I wouldn't start by telling you about ancient Greek and Roman orators. I'd ask you why "Make America Great Again" was such a good campaign slogan for Donald Trump. Ancient history is very instructive, but I'm forcing you to reach deep into your memory to make sense of what I'm saying. Trump is unavoidably right here, right now, so he is front of mind. In newsrooms, journalists will often ask, "What's the peg for this story?" What they mean is, what's the reason for doing this story now? And they will often ignore an interesting story in favour of an interesting story with a good peg. So the question for you is, how can you find something timely to hang your story on? Well, you can look at what is in the news right now. Or maybe it's not news, but it's trending, popular with the audience you're trying to reach. Or maybe it's seasonal. So at the start of January, for example, everyone is dimly aware of New Year's resolutions. Let's talk relatable. Put simply, are you saying something I can make sense of? For example, how big an area of land is 2.07 million hectares? Can you picture it? Is it a lot in global terms? Actually, it is an area the size of Wales. This is relatable to UK audiences because everyone pretty much every day sees a weather map of the UK and there's Wales sort of sticking out. So, you need to ask, how could my message relate to everyday objects, familiar processes, or human relationships that everybody has in common? They could either be a direct comparison or it could be a contrast, but it has to relate to something everybody instantly recognises. Now let's look at the unexpected and read this sentence about the Earth. The Earth revolves around the trouble once a year. Now, within 2/100ths of a second of registering the word trouble, a different part of your brain lit up to that which normally deals with making sense of sentences. That is because anomalies grab attention. The word trouble is an anomaly and it stands out. It grabs your attention. So bearing this in mind, ask yourself this. What is my audience expecting to hear? What do they already think is true? And how can I surprise them? Now finally, you need to make your message emotionally engaging. Now I don't mean you have to burst into tears like an Oscar-winning actress, but if you show your emotion, you allow me to tune in my emotional radar, which is the first step to me feeling the same way that you do. So, don't tell me why I should care until you've told me why you care. So tell me, why do you care about this work? Tell me what first made you care. What was the trigger that got you started? Because it might get me started too. Or tell me what makes you excited, what makes you despairing, what makes you angry. Any of these will help me tune in my emotional radar. So, to recap, if you want to talk about your work so people listen, it needs to be timely, relatable, unexpected, and emotionally engaging. What's the peg to hang your message on? Why does it matter, and why now? How can I relate what you're saying to familiar objects, people, or processes? What does your audience think or know already, and how can you surprise them? Finally, why do you care, and why should I?